So about 3 years ago, I thought, right, I'll have a go at doing all these Christmas songs, and because one of the most easiest songs is Jingle Bells, so just thought, oh, okay, and you can do it in a top octave, low octave, and I thought, well, that's sounding okay, yeah. But then I sort of realised that it was quite plain sounding. I was just thinking of standing on the streets of Liverpool playing these little sort of one note tunes and sort of unaccompanied, and whether or not people would start throwing things at me. So we just started playing around with a few things and a few ideas, and a lot of what I've done is I've sort of developed it throughout the years. So I'm lucky, certainly my youngest daughter, she's quite happy to hear Christmas songs in February. So that's pretty much what the type of thing that I get up to. But the great thing about diatonic harmonica is the way it's tuned, because it's very sort of very major sounding, and with a lot of Christmas songs, they are generally happy songs, and there's no sort of strange notes, or there's not often very many strange notes. Um, so what then realised as sort of playing it the Bob Dylan style, no disrespect to Bob, but just playing across chords. I thought, oh yeah, okay, that's a little bit of progress. And at the same time, I was sort of playing around with vamping and tongue blocking. Um, so to cut a long story short, I played around with that and then ended up with a. And then so I've just gone from those single notes to just fiddling around with chords, to then using the tongue blocking as a vamping technique to give the song rhythm. And I've probably mentioned this before. I don't play tongue blocking as in single notes and bends, but this is for these sorts of rhythms, and that it's absolutely perfect. And I know it does take a lot of time to get used to, but really all you're doing is putting your whole mouth across 3 or 4 holes and just slapping your. I can't really show it very well, but just slapping your tongue on and off those holes. But what I realise as well is you don't have to be that accurate. So if it's well, if you don't get it spot on, then you can get away with it because of the way that the harmonica is tuned. Um, and I thought, well, that sounds pretty okay, and you can play it up the top end as well. So that was sort of like a thing that I've a theme that I've used through all of the songs. I've got about a list of 15, 16 songs here. I'm not going to go through them all, and the idea of this isn't to say this is how you play Jingle Bells. What I'm trying to do is just give you an idea. This is my little journey of learning Christmas tunes, and the idea is to give people just a few thoughts or ideas and tips. And if people do want to get back to me, then that's fine. So it's pretty much me talking for hopefully only 15 minutes or so, and then you can get on with your playing. But then, of course, playing the diatonic harmonica, the next thing you think of, well, how do I get it to sound bluesy? So the first thing is you sort of go to second position. So you're thinking, right, yeah, okay, that's sort of sound a bit more bluesy. And to cut a long story short, again, there was an evolution process, and I, I came across this little version on YouTube. I thought I'm liking the sound of that, so I've sort of based one of my versions of Jingle Bells. I've actually got three. You've heard one. Um, on what this bloke was playing, and one of the things that really stuck out for me in the introduction was his start and end of the notes on the introduction. in the fact that he sort of scooped, so he bent the note to start with, and then bent it back down at the end. So if I play it without the bends, it would sort of start like a. But with the bends, so it just added a little bit of, you know, a little bit of colour to that introduction. So then I may as well just play the loop through again, a bit more evolution. So so it, so there you go. So that's again, that was a bit of an evolution, and you know, I do like that one. I'm quite proud of that tune, even though I say so myself. But there's one thing that I was doing in there was, and I use this quite a lot. Is with the melody is using the bends on hole 3, hole 4 together, and I do that for 4 and 5 as well. Now, what I dug out, this is a Sadel 1847, which to me is the best harmonica that I've come across. And I thought, right, I'll go back to a Lee Oscar, I mean the great harmonicas, and I tried to play exactly the same thing, and it just there's these are very tight harmonicas, so you're the gaps between the reeds and the reed plates are small, so you've got more. It's easier to bend. Basically, whereas with say a you know, mid-range harmonica like the Lee Oscars, it's got something in there. That air that you're drawing through doesn't allow you to get that sort of bent sound, or you can get it, but it doesn't sound very good. So I think the moral of the story there is that I always think about with harmonicas is buy the best you can afford, really. I did actually go through and get all 12 keys of Lee Oscars, thinking, hey, these are great harmonicas, you know, that'll last me forever. And then I did come across these Sadels, which are a lot more expensive, but as I say, they're a lot tighter. You get the bends a lot more. You can control the bends a lot better. And I would suggest any person, a Christmas present, I'd say, if you were thinking of getting 2 Lee Oscars, I'd suggest you get a something like one of the Sadels. I say I'm not talking on behalf of Harmonica UK here. I'm talking my own experience. And the ones I've had one since about 2013, and I use it quite regularly, and it's still going strong because they're stainless steel reeds. Anyway, sorry, I'm rabbiting on a bit now. But another place where I use that is on White Christmas, because you can do a. So again, it's using those bends, and the thing is, you're never going to get the bends absolutely spot on in terms of the notes. So you're not going to get a draw bend on hole one, draw bend on hole 3 and hole 4, because they're passing notes. You can sort of get away with it. So it sounds, if you play it a long time, it sounds awful. But because it's so short, you can sort of, I think you can get away with it anyway. And you can. Okay, so that's that strange hole 2, hole 3, hole 4 thing. So I'm just aware of the time. I only want to speak for about another 5 minutes, then get you folks going. Another thing is choosing which position you want to play in. Again, we say about second position is is more bluesy, but it's also the chords that you can play around those notes. So one thing that perhaps one of the nicest Christmas songs, I think, is Hallelujah. So I thought, right, okay, we'll start off in first position. First position. So you'd have. You think, okay, that sounds nice-ish. But then if you try and play get any chords behind that, there's just nothing there to take you from the first, because that second note is a draw bend, so you can't really get anything fluent with that. So thought, well, let's see what it sounds like in second position, and without any chords, you've got a. I think, well, actually, that's sounding a little bit more promising. And then when you put the chords in, I'm thinking, right, well, I'm getting somewhere there, because that's starting to sound like a little bit more complete. And then, as I was saying before about the adding the vamping to it as well, and this is how I'd play it now. And again, this is evolution. This is over years, and it's still evolving. Is you can get like a. So that's gone from something that's just a single note tune to something that sounds a lot fuller. And the other thing about Christmas songs as well is that they tend to be very, very repetitive. So I was listening to I won't do it now, but Stop the Cavalry. If you listen to the song, you've got the vocal line, then you've got the sort of the brass line, and you think, God, if I play this through 6 times, people then are going to start throwing things other than money at you. And so with Alleluia, it's very good, because you start on draw 1, draw 1, and that's the lowest note that you need. So which means that then you can also start on a hole 4, and then go up to hole 8, and 8, draw 8 blows. So you can then mix things up, because you've got 3 different octaves to play with. So that's another thing to think about. And what I did in there as well, I'm not sure if you noticed, is that when there weren't chords, I was trying to put in little ghost notes, I think they call them, just little bits, just to keep a feeling of continuity. So when it went to that ascending little bit, Now, if you listen to what I'm doing here. So what I'm actually doing on that, I think that's a 3-draw, two bends, two bends, and 2-draw, 1 bend. So I'm actually sort of going on both notes, starting with a bend, which isn't always easy. But again, to me that's part of sort of like a practice routine. So these are great little songs to practice on as well. I was going to mention about God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. I'll leave that unless people want to know about that. But my biggest challenge, and I sort of cracked this in the summer, was Carol of the Bells, which is sort of quite a haunting carol. And of course you've got the... Oh, yeah, I'm thinking, well, that theme is going much of the way through, and I was going down the route of saying, well, I've got a looper, perhaps I could do something with that, but then you've got the bit as well. How's that all going to work? And so gave it a lot of thought. On the commute, so I was probably humming away on the train. Carol of the Bells in middle of June, but there you go. So how I sort of got over it in the end, or how I got round it, was I just put everything together. So this is my version of Carol of the Bells, and I have to warn you, it is work in progress. So. Okay, so got there in the end. So again, that's some jingling bells there. So saying, yeah, that's just a little thing there, and I'll just finish on my guilty pleasure. Everyone loves a bit of Kylie, so I'm sure you know what's coming now.